Okay, for this video, I'm doing 5 through 7. This one is which equation represents the line that goes to the points 5, -2, and -5, 3. By looking at my answer choices, my equation looks a little different. It kind of looks a little familiar. I don't know if you recognize it. What's the form where it has a number on the outside, parentheses, an x on the inside, minus another number, right? It kind of reminds me of our point slope. Remember when we did this? And then not to mention, remember when we started solving for it and we moved this y1 value to this side, outside the parentheses, right? It's kind of what it looks like, okay? So they gave us this point and this point, right? Each answer choice looks like it leaves both points, okay? So what I would do, there's a couple of ways we can do this, right? By looking at this, I know I have 2 points. I would need to find my m first. However, by looking at my answer choices, the m outside the parentheses, every single answer choice has a -1. That must mean that my slope is -1, so that saves me some time. So what I can do is, yes, I could go in and plug each one up, use this equation, use this point, and see what the equation should look like, or use this point. Or you could plug each equation in and just look at it. Look at the table. Does this table have that point? Does this table have that point? Okay, so let's look at it. Let's do A. So A was y equals -1/2 x. I forgot what A was. -5 -3. So -5. Parentheses, -3, okay? You can convert this into a table, and I know it needs to contain the points 5, -2, and -5, 3. So when my x is a 5, do I get out a -2? No, I do not. So that cannot work, because this equation does not contain this point. I don't even need to waste my time with that point. Let's check B. Again, B, the equation is +5 + 2. This is the only thing that changes. So we can actually just come here and just change this equation. This should be a +5 + 2. Right? Did I do that right? Okay. So it changes my table. All right? And again, when I put in a 5, I should have a -2. Again, this does not give me a -2 out. This cannot be it. Okay, so let's look at C. Again, the only thing that changes now, I have a -5 and a -2. So let's just change that. -5, -2. Whoops. Finally, 5, -2. I finally have it out. What's the other point that I need? -5, 3. So let's check that. -5, do we get out a 3? That works out, okay? So I don't even need to waste my time doing D. I do want to show you if you choose to do it by hand. Clearly, they use this point, 5, -2. So if you would have done it by hand, right, you would have done y minus the y1 was a -2. Those two negatives made the positive, right? This m, clearly we know it had to be -1, 2, so we don't need to worry about that. Sorry, -1/2. Parentheses, x minus the x1 they gave us was a 5, right? And had you moved this by hand, again, how do you get rid of a +2? A -2, okay? And that's how they got this equation. So you could have either chose to do it by hand and see which one did it correctly, or just match the equation to the points. All right, number 6, what is the equation in slope-intercept form? Guys, that's y equals mx plus b, right? M is the slope, B is the intercept, the y-intercept of a line that passes through the points -6, 52, and 4, -23. Remember, when they give you points, all points are made up of an x and a y, right? Slope-intercept form, mx plus b. Doesn't the calculator give us this equation? It does. All you have to do is make sure you put your points in a table. So -6, 52, and 4, 23, right? This is where we ask the calculator to do the linear regression. Give us the equation. So we would do, this is where in the calculator we do y1 is approximately mx1 plus b. Remember that? So let's plug in our table. Go here. This is your little drop down where you add a table. Put your points in. -6. I forgot it. -652. And the other one should have been for -23. That was my fault for not writing it. So for -23. Okay? Go to the next box. Plug in your regression. So it's y1 approximately, the little squiggle, mx1 plus b. Remember, we have to put the 1 so it can pull the points from our table, right? x1, y1. Okay? So it gives us our equation, m, -7.5. The b is 7. So if I plug this in, the equation should be y equals -7.5x plus 7. Right? So I got out y equals -7.5x plus 7. Now, none of my answer choices give me the slope in decimal. So we have to turn this back into a fraction. What is negative? So this is where you use the other calculator. -0.75. Math, enter, enter. -15/2. So the answer choice had to be this one, -15/2x plus 7. Okay. All right, now let's look at number 7. So number 7, which equation in standard form, so this is the other form, has a graph that passes through the point -3, 5, and has a slope of a positive 7/2, 7/2. So again, one of these equations should have this positive slope and have this point. Okay, so there are several ways to do it, right? When you're doing a standard form, there is a way to turn it back in. However, one way we can eliminate is let's plug in each of these equations and see, does it contain this point? So for A, I'm going to plug in 7x minus 2y. So 7x minus 2y equals, what's the first point? -21. All right. Now, if you notice in the gear, it won't let you convert to a table. That's because the equation, the y is not alone. Okay, you can only convert it into a table if the equation is y equals. This is not y equals. No big deal. Okay, you can actually plug in, plot the point. Parentheses -3, 5, right? Just plot it. And it'll plot it for you. Okay, so for this equation, A, does it contain this point out here? It does not. -3, 5 is way on the other side of it. So the answer cannot be A. Let's check B. 7x minus 2y equals -31. So the only thing that changed, 7x minus 2y was a -31. So we can just change that. Boom. Does it contain that point? Yes, it does. So this one has to be my answer. We can go on and check the other ones. 7x minus 2y equals -41. So we can go on ahead and still check it. The only thing that changed was the C value. Nope, doesn't contain it. And then D as well. The only thing that changed was the -5. You could check that one as well. It also doesn't contain that point. So we were correct. B was the right answer.